Imagine this, you're in the streets, night after night, protesting, marching, and standing up for something bigger than yourself. You helped spark one of the most important movements in modern history. And your voice, it's loud enough to shake the system up, but just 2 years later, you're found dead, shot, burned, silenced. Is the story of Darren Seals, an activist, a rapper, a voice for Ferguson, and a man whose death still raises one haunting question. Was he killed over a street feud? Or was he taken out there for something bigger? To understand Darren Seals, you have to understand Ferguson. Before 2014, Ferguson was just another working class city outside of St. Louis, mostly black, heavily policed, struggling economically, a place most of America didn't pay attention to until August 9, 2014, and that's when Michael Brown was killed by Officer Darren Wilson. And everything changed. The city erupted, protests filled the streets, tear gas filled the air, armored vehicles rolled through neighborhoods, and suddenly, Ferguson was on the world stage. And right there in the middle of it all was Darren Seals. Darren Seals wasn't an outsider. He wasn't someone who showed up when the cameras did. He was Ferguson, born and raised there, working a blue-collar job at an auto plant, and on the side, making music, rapping under the name King D. Seals. But when Michael Brown was killed, something changed. Seals stepped forward, and not because he had a title, but because people listened. His words hit different. They were real, unfiltered, direct. He spoke the kind of truth that people felt in their chest. He wasn't polished, he wasn't media trained, he was raw, fearless, and that came with a price. That this protest continued. Darren Seals became one of the loudest voices in Ferguson. He marched, he organized, he spoke directly to cameras and to the people. But he didn't just challenge the police, he challenged the movement itself. Seals believed something was happening, something bigger than people realized. He believed the movement that was being taken. In his words, the Black Lives Matter movement was hijacked. He argued that what started in St. Louis, what started in the streets of Ferguson, was grassroots. It belonged to the people. But over time, he felt it was turned into something else, a brand, a platform, something controlled by people outside the community. To Seals, this wasn't about money or fame or politics. This was about justice and about the people who were really out there risking their lives. That mindset put him at odds with powerful voices. He called people out and by name, and when you move like that, you don't just gain respect, you also gain enemies. By 2016, Darren Seals was still speaking out, still active, still unapologetic, but tensions were rising. He had accused former associates of being snitches. In any environment, that's dangerous. And rumors started to build about a possible feud. And then, September 6, 2016, police respond to a vehicle fire in Riverview, North St. Louis County, inside a Jeep Wrangler. They find Darren Seals. He had been shot in the vehicle that was set on fire. He was just 29 years old. And just like that, one of Ferguson's most visible voices was gone. Police ruled it a homicide, but after that, things went quiet. And no suspects, no arrests, and no real answers. And then when there are no answers, people start asking their own questions. Some believe this was personal, that the accusations done with the tension led to retaliation, the situation that escalated on and ended in violence. But others see something different. It's something bigger. They point to the fact that Ferguson activists, including Darren Seals, were monitored by federal authorities. They point to other deaths, other strange circumstances. And then there's something else, something that made people even more suspicious. Many in the community believe the police never truly investigated his murder. Seals had spent years criticizing law enforcement, calling them out, challenging them publicly. So when his case stalled with no updates, no progress, people started to wonder, was it neglect or was it intentional? To some, the silence didn't feel accidental. It felt like confirmation. Today, years later, Darren Seals' story still lingers. It's inspiring because he stood up and he spoke out. He refused to be quiet, but it's also haunting because his death was never solved. And for many, that's the hardest part. Not just that he was killed, but that justice never came. No arrests, no closure, just silence. And that silence leaves us with questions. Was Darren Seals killed because of a personal feud? Or was he ignored maybe even erased because of what he stood for, because his voice was too loud, too real, too dangerous, and we may never know. But one thing is certain, Darren Seals mattered. His voice mattered, and the fight he carried still echoes today. So now the question is yours. What do you think? Was this a street murder or something bigger? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more stories like this, make sure you like, subscribe, and stay locked in.